The rain fell mercilessly that night, drenching the empty streets as if the sky itself were mourning. Headlights cut through the storm, and inside the sleek black car sat Adrian Blake, a man whose name carried weight in the world of business. To many, he was the perfect image of success, wealth, charm, and influence. But those who looked closely knew he carried an invisible wound. He was a single father still grieving the loss of his wife, raising his little boy alone while trying to hold his empire together. As his car slowed near a deserted park, Adrian spotted something that made his chest tighten. There, on a soaked bench under the pounding rain, sat a young girl, maybe no older than 15. She was shivering violently, clutching a broken crutch beside her. Her leg, twisted at an unnatural angle, revealed her disability. Tears streamed down her cheeks, mixing with the rain, as if the world had abandoned her completely. Adrian's instinct told him to stop. He lowered the window and called out softly, "Hey, are you all right?" The girl flinched, as if expecting cruelty, not kindness. "Oh, leave me alone," she whispered, her voice cracked with pain and fear. But something inside Adrian wouldn't let him drive away. He pulled over, stepped out into the rain, and crouched beside her. His expensive suit was instantly soaked, but he didn't care. No one deserves to be out here like this. "Come with me," he said, extending his hand. His voice carried a firmness, yet there was warmth in it, a promise of safety. She hesitated, trembling, her eyes searching his face for any trace of deception. All she saw was sincerity. Finally, she placed her fragile hand in his. That night, Adrian took her home. His mansion, usually cold and silent, seemed to breathe with new life as the girl crossed its threshold. His son, Ethan, just 8 years old, peeked curiously from the staircase. "Dad, who's that?" Adrian knelt beside Ethan. Adrian smiled, his voice steady. "Maybe I didn't find you. Maybe you found me. Maybe we were both lost and fate decided we'd find our way together." Lily leaned her head against his arm, tears glistening. But this time, they were not tears of pain. They were of gratitude, of hope, of a future she once thought impossible. The message of their journey was clear. Family isn't always bound by blood. Sometimes it's found in the most unexpected places, in the middle of a storm, when someone dares to say, "Come with me." And that single act of kindness can change 2 lives forever. The first night under Adrian's roof was strange for Lily. The mansion was nothing like the streets she had known. Warm, filled with the faint smell of cinnamon from the kitchen, and soft carpets that seemed too pure for her muddy shoes. But comfort didn't erase fear. She lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, her heart racing with the same question on repeat. How long until he changes his mind? Adrian, meanwhile, sat in his study with a glass of untouched wine. The image of Lily crying in the rain haunted him. He couldn't shake the thought of what might have happened if he had simply driven past. He had built empires, signed million-dollar deals, and faced cutthroat rivals. But somehow, taking in this broken girl felt like the most important decision of his life. The next morning, Ethan burst into Lily's room with childlike energy. "Good morning," he grinned, carrying a tray of toast and orange juice. Lily blinked in shock. No one had ever brought her breakfast before. Ethan set it down clumsily, nearly spilling the juice, and sat on the edge of her bed. "Dad said you can stay as long as you want. That means forever, right?" His innocence melted a piece of her guarded heart, but she didn't answer. She only smiled faintly, afraid of making promises that might vanish. Over the next days, Lily struggled to adjust. Simple things like walking up the grand staircase were difficult with her weak leg. Adrian quickly noticed and had ramps installed, something Lily couldn't understand. "Why would you spend money on me?" she asked one evening. Adrian looked her in the eye, his tone steady but gentle. "Because you're not a burden. You're part of this family now, and family looks after each other." But shadows weren't so easily chased away. Adrian's business partners began whispering behind closed doors. At a board meeting, one of them scoffed, "You've turned your house into an orphanage. Investors don't like distractions." Adrian's jaw tightened, but he stayed calm. "If anyone here thinks compassion is a weakness, then perhaps you're in the wrong company," he said coldly. He knew there would be consequences, but for the first time in years he didn't care about money more than people. For Lily, the challenges were more personal. At school, whispers followed her. Cripple, charity case, billionaire's pet. Each word cut her deeply. One afternoon she came home early, tears streaming. She slammed her sketchbook shut and curled into herself. Adrian found her in the corner of her room. "I don't belong anywhere," she sobbed. "Not at school, not here. I'm just broken." Adrian knelt beside her, his voice trembling with emotion. "Lily, listen to me, you are not broken. The world may see scars and flaws, but I see strength. You survived more than most people ever could, and I'm proud of you." Something shifted inside her at those words. For the first time she felt seen, not for her limp, not for her pain, but for her courage. That night, Ethan crept into her room and placed one of his toys, a little wooden airplane, on her nightstand. "This is for you," he whispered, "because you help me feel like I'm not alone anymore." Lily hugged him tightly, realizing that she was no longer the girl abandoned in the rain. She was a sister, a daughter, and slowly, piece by piece, she was becoming whole again. But storms were never far away. The deeper she allowed herself to belong, the more terrified she became of losing it all. And soon, life would test her, and Adrian, in ways none of them could imagine.